yesterday we went over the first part of overview, which is kit overview, this page. On the site, you can find it through this link, and in the kit manual, we went through kit overview. So today we're going to follow through kit architecture, which is this page, and where we left off from previous days' learnings was this. So you are free to go back to a previous video that we recorded and find the graph up to that point in that video's description. So what we've learned is the role of Omni.USD and what it, how it connects with Hydra, that connects to any renderer that has something called a Hydra scene delegate, and it's like a universal standard that basically could interface through Hydra and talk into USD. And then we also got the concept of a Omniverse client, excuse me. And then we also have, and it would seem there's still some questions about the relationship between, to my understanding at this point, is that kit /SDK is a type of Omniverse client, or Omniverse client would use SDK to make things. And then it would have a library, the core library, and I'm not quite sure if it's the same thing as Omni client library, and is it the same thing as Omniverse client library. So we've seen these terminologies all shown up. Not sure if they're the same thing. And then we saw something called Carbonite SDK, which the Carbonite plugin uses, and our Carbonite plugin also uses the SDK. So plugins, you could turn it on and off. I think it's self-contained. It has its own interface, I think, independently. So you can load it and not load it, almost like a library. It's a library that uses kit library, I'm thinking. And then within those sort of the API that you create for your plugin, you should, or at this point, they should have, most of them have Python bindings in order to receive Python code to process it. I think that's what it means. We also got the concept of a kit extension. So I'm guessing since we see extension here, we're going to dive deeper into kit extension today and learn more about it. We also know that there's a UI framework that is part of this big picture. We don't know exactly how it flows in and out where yet, and it uses something called Dear IMGUI, GUI. And then, okay, so at the end of the day of this whole learning experience, we want to build an app. This app is, I'm going to give it a nice, I wish I could give it like a rainbow color, whatever. So the ultimate goal is to build an app that could be utilized by the AEC industry, architecture, interior, engineer, construction, and then I'm going to add in interior design in that bunch, so that this industry / my industry could utilize the power, leverage the power of USD, which functionally, my ultimate goal is to be able to have a fully a revision controlled Revit on the micro or on the submodel level, meaning that it doesn't just revision control the whole freaking project, but it also can do revision control within the walls or the paint specifications, etc. So the idea is to eventually allow the industry to be able to grow on top of its prior knowledge, just like the software industry can, and hopefully we could get somewhere and not. Well, it's really just part of the evolution of what needs to happen in complex project management, I would say, and information management. Okay, enough of that. Let's dive in to the fine text of the current version of the Kit manual, second chapter, architecture. Kit is a platform for building applications and experiences. Okay, so we build apps on top of that, and those apps, I think this experiences is maybe animation. Is it referring to animation? Not sure. Maybe. Or it could be the outcome of apps, which are experiences. Is a general word. They may or may not have much in common, meaning application and experiences, I guess. Some of these may use RTX rendering, or the UI framework, or other libraries to create rich applications. Yes. So basically, we can mix and match all the things that they refer to in the prior chapter page in the overview. Others may cut down windowless services. Right. So it basically could be a full-on app, or it could just be a service. meaning with an API and almost functioning like a server, I'm guessing, like a processing server. Want to process USD offline, for example. Okay. To achieve this goal, Kit aims to be extremely modular. Yes, thank you, NVIDIA Omniverse team. I feel like this is such a wise decision. Everything is an extension, and I think that should be applied to the real world as well. And everything is. It's just that we don't acknowledge it much. You know, we all learn from someone else's knowledge and etc. Okay, now we dig into extensions. Let's find our extension box here. I'm guessing Kit extension equals extension. What was that? An extension is a uniquely named and version package. Yes, we mentioned that. Loaded on runtime. Runtime. It can have any or all of the following properties. Okay, let's add this in. I'm having a little bit of cough today, so please forgive me. Here we go. I'm gonna do that, and then do that. So let's drag this out. I have a feeling it's gonna use quite a bit of space. I don't know where you go yet, but let's move you somewhere else. We need more space. Has can have any or all, have any, 0 to like that, any or all properties. Can, you know, we'll just say can have. What was our medium with that? Is that how we wrote it before? Yeah, that looks good. Except we didn't have an extra line here. It is important to have some sort of a convention in writing. Okay, contain Python code, contains share libraries, and or Carbonite plugins. Okay. Hi, Carbonite plugin. Provide a C++ API, provide a Python API, depend on other extensions. Okay. Be reloadable. Can be unloaded, changed, and loaded again. Okay, cool. That's really cool. I'm gonna have a little link here and say can use can contain. Yeah, so if plugin is really like a library, it could function as like that. And then I'm gonna create a little can contain. Well, it is the basic building block of Kit-based applications. So our application will come into play here. So let's put it on this side. Okay. I'm gonna add a little note. See, this is talking about getting fussy. There we go. Okay, great. Basic block. Like create. So create is indeed an app. See? We will, in fact, I'm gonna put a little put a little. Oh, I guess I have to. Just do this. Create. I do think that it needs to be like, you know, people don't know. I don't know. Example. That's a map. More info in the extension part of the guide. Okay, I'm just gonna quickly open this up and see what that means. And okay, cool. Eventually, I guess we're gonna dig deeper into it, and we'll see what. I guess we'll get there. When we get there, we're gonna talk about extension extensively later. You can see that there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Exciting. Okay, cool. All right, chapters. Kit kernel. Kit kernel. So this is Kit kernel might be core library. I think we'll see. Is a minimum core required to run an extension? Okay, so it almost sounds like Kit is like an operating system. I'm gonna put a note here because I feel like that's what makes the most sense to me. Like an OS for USD based 3D content. I don't know if content is the right word, but you know what I mean. Question mark. It still needs to be confirmed. Okay, so Kit kernel, it's very likely that it's this box, but I'm gonna make a new box, and until it proves itself to be that, that's gonna be. I'm gonna call it Kit kernel. No, let's make it medium. I'm feeling that maybe it needs to be large. This is gonna be a lot of stuff in it. Okay, minimum core required to run an extension. So we need to run extensions, or rather, extension uses this kit, and the minimum needs to have that. Okay, let's create a little line here. Excuse me. Now this is also a little, so extension, I'm not quite sure if it's on the server side or the client side, but I previously noted that Omniverse kit would be a client. I'm guessing this is still in the client side. Uses. And then minimum core, required to run an extension. And then it is an entry point for any kit-based application. Oh, okay. So entry point for any kit-based app. It includes extension manager and basic interface. It is a core which holds everything together. I'm just going to call it a core. So in that case, I'm going to try to move this up here. Move this little core down here. This is the entry point. Uses as entry point. This is that situation down here. You are getting funky. So let's see. Minimum core required to run any extension. Talking about extension. Cool. So this is like almost like a dispatcher or receiver, or maybe a constructor, where everything comes in through that. Guessing. All right. I think we covered everything here. Moving down, Omni.kit app is the basic interface that can be used by any extension. Okay, so extension is it part of the extension? Or, oh, wait, it's part of the kit. So I'm guessing what? There's an extra. That's what that meant. And we use any extension provides a minimum set of Carbonite plugins. Okay, so there's a Carbonite plugin in here. Or rather, there's an OmniKit app here that has a Carbonite plugin there. That. Let's see what this transparent. Can we do this transparent like that? Okay. So is the basic interface. Basic interface that can be used by any extension. So this is, let me move this out here for a second. Right in it. Interface. We'll just say basic interface. Notes. Minimal set of Carbonite capital plugins to load and set up extensions. It is the main front part. Okay, so basically this is the constructor of the constructor. My goodness. So this sort of accidentally explained a little bit more about the relationship between a Carbonite plugin and setup or extension, really. Come on. It's funky. And then processing. C++, Python. Okay, so you could write with either one of these languages. I guess you could write your, do you call it? I guess we'll know. Well, let's move forward before we get stuck for too long. We're going to say contains medium, small, paste. It can run from either a kit executable or from Python. Typo. We better add that to dictionary. So bundled extensions. So you could bundle a bunch of extensions together, I'm guessing. Before we get too far, let's see if we're like logged up on anything here. So we call it's not entirely clear to me of how the picture is right now. But I'm guessing that Kit kernel is like the basic processes. It defines all the basic processes of how things should act. Could be. And then this is the actual constructor. Maybe. Fuzzy. So I'm going to have, because it contains minimum set of Carbonite plugins. So I'm going to put a little Carbonite plugins. Essential. In here. Isn't that cute? All right. And then to load and set up extension. So does it say this is the universal interface? It's a basic interface. You could say that this goes here. And then it's this. Excuse me. I think this is just directly related to this dude. Is there any way to reset you? I guess not. All right, easy enough. And then, okay, if we go down here saying bundle extensions, we're almost done with this page, surprisingly. But it's a little, there's some stuff that are not there. Manager and basic interface. I'm gonna separate this because I think they're different things. I'm guessing bundle extension has something to do with you. I mean, like you'd better like that. Bundle extension. The kit SDK comes with a lot of included extension. Okay, so this is in here. Even more extensions are developed outside. Okay, so there's sort of official extensions, non-official extensions are developed outside of Kit SDK and delivered using extension registry. Cool. We're gonna say official. But really, it just contains official bundle extension. Medium. And then we also have non-official ones. Let's put it on the next to it. Non-official. Okay, that extension registry. Basically, this is, I'm guessing this is just like almost like a marketplace of extensions. Again, this is coming from someone that knows nothing about this. I don't think we need this yet, but we'll, I guess once we start coding, do examples, we'll know where these execution commands come in. Okay, different modes. Example. Let's zoom in a little. That's better. Okay. So CLI utility. I'm getting, just based on everything, it probably is command line interface. So there's like arrows are extension dependencies. Okay. So let's find where everything is. Obviously this is where we're getting into the code of the library. So user writes an extension called user tool, which depends on. So an extension, which depends on only the omnikit.usd. OmniKit USD? OmniKit USD. We should have one here somewhere. Oh boy. So we have OmniKit app here. It's here. And then let's find the OmniKit USD. This is omni.us. Maybe I wonder if omni.usd is equal to omnikit.usd. Maybe it's the it talks. Core library maybe omni.kit. I wonder if I could search omni.kit.usd. So we haven't really written this here. So, excuse me, I'm guessing because I have pointed this core library to USD. So I am calling this core library the omni.kit.usd. Left, please. This needs to be a little larger. And then let's widen it. We're coming into different territories. See how everything connects. I'm going to give it a question mark because it's almost either it is part of it. Maybe core library is omni.kit, and then omnikit.usd is what connects to the omni.usd. But let's follow this. So your tool is an extension. It connects to OmniKit here, and then the OmniKit.connection talks to OmniKit app. So extension, in order to talk to an app, you need to go through OmniKit connection. Is that how it is? Notice that only one extension is specified. Omni.kit.app. It'll automatically figure out which extension are required by resolving dependency. We'll load and start them all up in the correct order. Call for instant parse command line. Okay, do some processing and then exit. Okay. So basically, an extension needs to talk to OmniKit.connection. It needs to talk to OmniKit.usd. I think this is premature. We know that there is something called omni.kit.usd, and we know that there's something called omni.kit.connection. Now, because of the naming, they're all within Kit. So we need to extend Kit once again. Let's pull it down. We need to start putting this chunk into a text box. This is silly. T, not T. Now this text box will sit here. I have to move it every 2 seconds. And these two are here somewhere. So, because extension points to, let's make it long, like so. Make it long, like so. I wonder if they have a hierarchy. So instead of extension, instead of calling the app directly, it goes to here, omni.kit.usd, and it also goes to here. And then these two, well, actually, this comes here. Then this connection goes, it's not really a connection, it's like a talks to it. Rather, let's see what's a good way to do this. So this is not that, it's just a dot, dot, dot. How do I make this a dot, dot, here, dot, dot, dot. Okay, so dot 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 comes back to USD. Fascinating. Then this also comes back to extension. Oh dear. We're gonna get a little confusing here. There. So we'll pull it down like so. And then this needs to come out a wee bit. I think it's coming together a little bit. But every terminology right now is very like, I'm guessing that this is that. Notice that only one extension is specified. And the app will okay, so basically, whatever this extension needs in order to get the job done, omni.kit.app will figure it out and extend what and refer to what it needs to refer to. Basically, it'll find everything. Try to, at least. That's my understanding right now. User tool can, for instance, parse command line argument. Excuse me, do some parling and then exit. It's just an example. So if we expand this, okay, so this example is almost like a service example with no GUI, no graphic user. I think that's what it is. User interface, graphical user interface. But if you do have a GUI, you do need a GUI in your extension, then it'll go through user tool UI, user tool. Okay, so instead of just like, okay, you're gonna go through, see, this is now clear because now this is where it goes. So since this, let's go to this side and make sure that this is connected on this side. Okay, so if say this extension needs to needs to have a graphic interface, then it'll go through the .ui, whatever name, and then .ui. Go to the omnikit.ui. Go to the omnikit.rendering. Go to the window, and of course this is a lot more complicated because there's a lot more things that you have to handle, and then go to app. That's cool. I wonder how I could show that in this graph actually. I understand the concept of these two examples or these two models of doing things. Now I'm trying to figure out how can I put this example. It might make sense to use a different color. Let's try that. So this line, this line, this line, this line, this line, this line, and this line represents. Can I do anything here? Oh. Okay, let's try example 1. Let's do a service. Is that clear? Okay, that's a clear line. I like that. Okay, so if, let's try this. We'll still use this tool as an example because we kind of need the blue, and I want this to be transparent. That's right, and sort of indicate that this is part of the example. All right. I don't think we need to use this anymore. We just know that it needs to reach out to that. And then if, okay, example 2, we need to start from user.tool.ui, and this will be a different color. Let's make it an orange, just giving contrast, you know. And then at this point, this connects to that, and this will be in orange as well. So we'll be doing oranges now. Boop. And then, so this, or actually, let's go to omni.kit.ui. I'm gonna move you guys up. let's extend this down. Okay, omni.kit.ui. So you have like a correlated thing to handle it. Now, X, you need to come here, and then you have an omnikit.rendering. Okay. So, I'm having a feeling that this is a one thing. Okay, I mean, the rendering, and then we have the omnikit window. So I'm going to make a note that the orange is the GUI example. Actually, I need to do that. Copy, paste. And then this omni.kit talks to the app. Good to know. Okay, time we need to expand this. Is there any way to, there we go. Does that do anything? I'm not selecting the right thing. There, just do that. All right, so that line, and then omnikit comes. Okay, so this is actually not a, this is just a dotted line. So, like the previous ones. Great. And the rendering, looks like there's some here. Rendering also does that. Talks to that. And then the following, this part is the same. So let's do this too. Well, let's actually do follow it through. Okay. So this goes here. And this also goes directly to the UI2. Oh goodness. So now it's a tad unclear. So let's put you here. A lot of these energy is spent on organizing information, which may or may not be worth it. But I think you just have to believe that if a graphical document like this gets produced, it will be worth it in the end if it is clear and people can understand it. Oop, there we go. Okay. This is that. All right, that's fine. Is it connected? Yeah, it is. So I want user.tool.ui connect directly in a dotted line to OmniKit app, which is up here. Okay. I'm gonna add this like that. So we separated the two. Now, what else? User tool that does that. So everything in orange also uses the blues, but not vice versa. All right, I think that's clear. It's like one step more complicated, and you need to think about these things for handling anything GUI. All right, the dependency on the UI roles. Okay, I'm gonna make a lovely note. I think we're done with this chapter. Can you believe it? That was significantly faster than previous. Maybe we got a hold of it too. So let's put a note, not a rectangle, just a note. That different modes examples, and this is a large. Oh, had no idea you could do that. Cool. Learn something every day. So now we have the CLI utility example, or just this is like just basic service example, as opposed to GUI CLI utility. How should I note you? This is what we're going to do. We're going to be like this. Actually, we could put it in here. This is the GUI CLI utility, and this is just the CLI utility. Example. We'll make it small, make it a little bold, like that. Longer, like so, shorter like that. And we also call it example. Small, bold, wrap around, like so. So, and then I think it makes sense to have a little note that says the orange also does what the blue does, but not the other way around. There you go. Let's open you more. Plus, I don't know if it's clear, but I'm just, it's clear to me, and if you follow through this, it'll be clear to you. Let me say just blue. Just blue. All right, people. That's the end of architecture. This is actually somehow much easier to follow for me because maybe we have sort of a basic understanding of where everything is. I will I'm looking over to see if I missed anything. So down the road, once we get into the next chapter, I'm gonna take a break here, but once we get into the next chapter, I do want to organize this chart a little bit more so that we're not having any wasted space. But we did spend a lot of energy to open up space today, so I'm gonna leave some space so that I don't have to do that next time as much. Okay, I hope this is clear. Do we need to do a recap? Very quickly. Let's do a recap. How long has it been? I don't know. So we talked about kids. Yes, really, we talked a lot about this juncture here. What a kid extension would look like. Excuse me, it's like a library and contains plugins. So plugins are smaller, extensions are larger. Both could be dynamically loaded on and off, or maybe dynamic. I think one is dynamic, one is not, but you could turn it on and off basically, which is really remarkable. This is true modularization design. And then but at least we know now that extension is usually a bigger chunk, app is the biggest chunk, and then you get extension, and then you get plugins. That's the relationship. And then we talked extensively about the kit kernel, what it could do, what is the most basic thing that lies in here. And then we talked about the default, or rather not default, but more like official extensions that SDK, the kit supports. And then there are ones that are developed by other people that needs to go through an extension registry, which makes sense. It's just like how you develop any node applications as well, extensions. Okay, and then it gave us really helpful, really easy to understand examples of the two different modes. One is just a simple service, which is what they mentioned a little bit before, and then one is a full-on, some, almost app-like, or not, maybe I shouldn't use that word, full-on tool that has extension that uses graphic user interface. Is you user? I'm going to Google that. Graphic user interface, that's right. Not too far gone. Okay. And then hopefully that my chart is clear of that these are, I do want to make this a little clearer. This is a section that's called, there we go. I like that. See? Charts are great. I love charts. There we go. And I'm gonna hold you two together, like so. Perfect. And then maybe we could shrink you like that. So we know the concept, we know the example. We do need, it does need to be differentiated, because I think, or else you'll feel like, oh, every kit extension has a user tool GUI, which is not true. Can I put this bring send back? Because I feel like this is now a little blurred. Send to back. Okay. I do this. Oh, there we go. There we go. And then this, because now we can't see that word. We might have to turn that into a text box too. All right. I think that's clear. We will, when we did the omni.ui, so this is basically a concept, but we don't know what it feels like. It also is like a super library of where are we? omni.kit.ui. Or rather, if you want to write or it's a super library of user.tool.ui. That could be it. Because the kit you probably don't have to write the kit. You just, guessing. All right, since it wasn't entirely mentioned like that, I'm gonna just leave it. And then this is gonna be our chart for today. I'm gonna include everything as a downloadable takeaway, and then we'll continue to the next episode of Kit Core iApp interface. I'm guessing that's also like sort of like a minimal version or essential version of an app interface. So we're getting into app lab, so that's exciting. Or maybe it's like the kit part of the app where it connects into the kit, the receiver, aka. Yeah, I look forward to that. So thanks for joining. I will end the stream right now.